All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Highruler. In today's videos, we're going to be talking about the Star Wars Outlaws situation that we have going on here. And we're not going to talk about the main character and everything to do with that situation, because that's a whole other ballgame. But we're going to be talking about the pricing of Star Wars Outlaws. And as you guys can see here, the pricing for me is a little more crazy than what a lot of Americans are experiencing, right? So we're looking at 90, 144, then 169 for the 3 editions here, right? Now, when we break down what each edition gives us, because I feel like that's a very important part of this conversation, let's talk about what we have going on here. So for the standard, it's obviously the base game, the pre-order bonus. Now, the pre-order bonus is going to be a cosmetic pack for your speeder, as well as a cosmetic pack for the Trailblazer spaceship, right? Now, as well as you'll also be receiving the Kessel Runner, which is a bonus pack. Now, when you move on to the gold edition, you're going to be getting the base game, your pre-order bonus once again, 3 days early access, as well as your season's pass. Now, in Ubisoft Season Pass, they usually do about 2 expansions as well as an extra mission. This did recently just happen with Avatar as well, and obviously now they're doing it again with Star Wars Outlaws. So the Seasons Pass for Star Wars Outlaws will include 2 DLCs that were released after launch. Keep exploring the world of Star Wars Outlaws with all new stories, quests, and areas to discover. You'll also get the Jabba's Gambit exclusive mission available at launch, as well as the Kessel Runner character pack featuring additional cosmetics for Kay and Nix. Now, when you go to the Ultimate Edition, which once again for me is going to be $170, you get your base game, your pre-order bonus, your 3 days early access, your season pass, and then you get 2 more cosmetic bundles as well as the digital art book. Now, there is quite a bit here to break down. Obviously, what a lot of people are hinging on is that the Seasons Pass does kind of bloat it up a little bit. And I've seen a lot of people talk about the fact that there is an exclusive mission available at launch if you buy either the Gold or the Ultimate Edition. Now, here's where it does kind of get murky when you compare them. Obviously, when you buy a game, you want to make sure that you get the most that you can. And I'm going to be talking about that shortly. Now, when you buy the standard edition, you obviously know that you're not getting the future content guaranteed unless you pay for it, right? That's obviously what a season pass is. But when you lock a mission that's available at launch behind a season pass purchase, a lot of people are going to feel some type of way about that, understandably so. I get where people are coming from. I totally do get it. I would like to think that this mission, while available at launch, will be available after launch for purchase alongside buying the season's pass, just like you would if you were to buy it pre-launch, right? I don't think this will be something they're going to go back on and say, this is something we're going to make free for all players. I don't see that happening. But on the other side of that coin either, I don't think this mission, this one mission in this game, is going to hinge a lot of the stuff that's happening in the game on. And now the counter to that point, what I might see in the comments is, well, they shouldn't do it at all regardless. And some would agree with that. I understand why Ubisoft does it. It's an incentive. It's supposed to get you to pre-order. But it is one of those things that I do understand where people are going to be coming from. So with that being said, that is the breakdown between all the additions and what comes in them, including that special mission. If you purchase the season pass, you get available right at launch. So I do understand where I'm seeing a lot of people have a pushback here, because that is a lot of money to part with for a video game. Now, much like you guys, when I buy a video game, I want to make sure that what I'm getting is probably one of the greatest entertainment pieces that I can actually get with my money, right? And for the most part, video games is actually that, right? You compare dollar to dollar with a movie, with any sort of entertainment, and we're probably getting more enjoyment over a longer period of time with a video game. Maybe except like a book. If you read a book, you probably get a little bit more out of that because of how long it may take you. But pound for pound, video games do offer a lot for the dollar that you pay. Now, we're kind of at an interesting point in the industry right now, because we have to take in a lot of outside forces when we have this conversation, right? So right now, a lot of people have been dealing with inflation and their dollar not being as good as it once was, right? Everything's a little more expensive. So that means a lot of the time when you have any extra dollars you can put towards entertainment, you want to make sure, once again, that it's worthwhile. Now, on the flip side of that, we have heard for so long that video games have not scaled with inflation, right? So the money that we used to pay for a game back in the day, similar as to what we are paying now, but if you adjust it for inflation, we should be paying much more. And slowly but surely, we have been seeing video game prices increase. Now, not just increase, but we have seen the monetization models of these games evolve over time. It used to just be you buy the game, then you buy the game and the expansion, and now it's you buy the game, buy the seasons pass, buy the skins, and then maybe sometimes as well buy the expansion. And Ubisoft does a lot of this, right? Depending on which game you play within Ubisoft's catalog, you're hit with many different options there, whether it comes to the monetization as well as the microtransactions within these games. And I'm not going to defend Ubisoft here, but I do understand from the publisher and developer point of view that there is a point in time where they're trying to recoup as much money as possible when it comes to these games. We know from Spider-Man 2 that it costs $300 million to develop. That is a fuck ton of money, right? And I think a lot of people would look at that and say, well, where's the waste? Where's the bloat? Because in any corporate environment, yeah, of course, there's quite a bit of redundancy there. But I don't think there's $100 million worth of redundancy, right? And we see a lot of the time that these games just outright don't do well. We just saw the Dead Space conversation go on where Dead Space didn't sell well, even though that was a quality game. And because of that, now the developers are working on Battlefield and Iron Man, I believe, right? So we do see that when there is pushback here, unfortunately, these games just cease to exist. So we're at an interesting point in time where the costs of making these games have gone up because we expect more from these games because we want our dollar to go farther, right? So because we want open world, detailed graphics, we want great combat, we want great narrative, we want voice acting, we want all this sort of stuff because our expectations have gone higher and higher and higher. The development costs have also gone higher and higher and higher. So we're at an interesting time to see where the breaking point is going to be between these two forces here. Now, of course, when we talk about development costs and the rest of it, a lot of people bring up AI and how AI could help with these things. But what we do see on Twitter and other social media platforms is that if we ever do get to a point where AI could actually come in and help with some of this scaling when it comes to game development, it's putting people out of a job, and we can't have that either, right? So then a cost-cutting measure, which could actually improve gamers, buying power, I should say, is kind of pushed back upon because it's impacting people's jobs. So that's also something to take into consideration, right? So what the point of this video is that yes, they are asking for a lot of money. I don't disagree. Am I going to buy the Ultimate Edition? No. Am I going to buy the Gold Edition? Probably not. I will probably just buy the Standard Edition because it is a game that I'm interested in, right? Star Wars is a, IP that I love, and this game does look like a lot of fun. So I probably will buy the Standard Edition. But here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to pre-order, and I'm going to wait to see if this is a game that I should buy right at the start, or if I should wait and see what happens like many other Ubisoft games happen with, and they go on sale quite quickly. I think we forget that Ubisoft games within the first 2 weeks or even 3 weeks will go on sale for 20-30% off. And I think right then and there, that is great for the people who are a little more hesitant about spending their money. On the flip side of that, as I just said with the Dead Space stuff, if you wait too long, the publisher gets the wrong idea and the game doesn't do well and any sort of sequel gets crushed and there's just no more of these games, which obviously isn't what we want because everyone wants their games to continue. A lot of people want sequels, they want continuations, they get invested in the story. So it is an interesting point in time where do you wait for a sale? Do you buy a game? How interested are you in it? And there's a lot of things to consider there. The question I'm going to leave with you guys today is where do we go from here? As a summary, we see that there are 3 external forces pushing against each other. That is, gamers do not want to pay much more than they already do for their video games, whether that's box prices, battle passes, skins, or more. We see that development costs are rising with the expectations of these games becoming bigger and bigger. And then we see that the introduction of any sort of technology to help with development costs are being pushed back against because they're impacting the jobs and the livelihoods of the people making video games. So with these three external forces pushing against each other, we are now at such an inflection point with the video game industry that I think on a personal level, here's what I would suggest. Buy the games that you want to play. So if you do feel like Star Wars Outlaws is that game for you, buy it and support it. If it isn't, don't buy it and support it. If you like a game like Rainbow Six Siege or any of those other games that have battle passes, buy those and support those. I think at the end of the day, you support the games and the entertainment that you like. And if you don't like something or if it's not for you, that's totally okay too, right? You don't have to buy it. But I think what we're going to see over the next couple of years is that we're going to start seeing these video games get scaled back one way or another. I think more than anything, with what's been going on with the industry, we are going to see the death of the AAA gaming space as we know it today. These kind of games will probably be the last of their kind, it seems like, just because until we reach a point where the technology and the manpower needed are at such a scale that we can pump these games out for a lot cheaper, and we're not relying on over 300 million in revenue or even more than that for a profit in order to make sure that these franchises are worthwhile, I don't see how these are sustainable anymore. They really, truly aren't. So I think at the end of the day, what I'm going to take away from this is that if there's a game like Star Wars Outlaws that is coming out and you like it and you like what they're pushing, you like what they see, and you like what's going on there, support it because you don't really know when the next one's going to come. Otherwise, just wait and see what happens because something will. With that being said, let me know what you guys think down below. What's going on with the gaming industry? What's going on with the pricing of this game specifically? And let me know if you guys are going to buy it because, once again, I'm pretty excited for it. Otherwise, if you guys want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a nice little comment. I'll see you guys next time. As always, enjoy the rest of your day and night. Take care of yourselves. Later, guys.